Shalom. This is Rabbi Mark Yunis, and my taste of Torah for this week, Parshat Acharei Kedoshim 5780. One of the most difficult things of our isolation with the coronavirus is that we cannot gather together to celebrate joyous occasions. Yes, there have been weddings, but only small and intimate ones. Bar bat mitzvahs have been postponed. Passover, the most joyous of all, was a rather lonely affair. And today is Yom Haatzmaut, Israel Independence Day, usually a time for concerts, Israeli restaurants, and barbecues. Today, unfortunately, it's a much more subdued affair, relegated to online programming. But how about spending some time today focusing on the Jewish state and what it means to us? Let me begin with a question on the minds of many. How is the state of Israel doing with this coronavirus? Would it surprise you to hear that Israel was ranked, have it right here, the number one safest country to stay free of coronavirus? Wow! It seems the threat of biological attack that worried Israel for decades made it more prepared than most. According to Science and Technology Minister Ophir Akunis, Israeli scientists could have a vaccine within weeks and available in 90 days. Wouldn't it be wonderful if Israel could be the one to help save the world from this terrible scourge? Recent studies have shown that today's younger generation of Jews feel less connected to the state of Israel and don't appreciate its importance or significance. They're growing up without Holocaust survivors to remind them how quickly the world can turn on the Jews and that the Jewish state is their real security. I would like to show them that Yom Haatzmaut, Israel Independence Day, is actually in the Torah. What? How can that be? The state of Israel was formed in 1948 and the Torah was given more than 3,000 years ago. There are numerous quotes that prove it. Let me just share one from Kabbalah and Rabbi Yosef Karo. In the 16th century, Rabbi Karo compiled Jewish law into an organized code called the Shulchan Aruch. Using the Atbash code there, he taught us a major principle of the Jewish calendar. What's the Atbash code? It's a system that first appears in the prophet Jeremiah, who uses it to secretly curse Babylonia, calling it Sheshach, showing us that along with God's alphabet, where he openly reveals his will in the Torah, there's also a backwards hidden order of the alphabet that begins with the last letter of the alphabet, the Taf. At this Atbash code, the Taf, the last letter of the alphabet, corresponds to the first letter, Aleph, of the alphabet. The second, Bet, corresponds to the second from the end, the Shin, and so forth. Let me illustrate with Passover. Passover is the holiday that most expresses God's love for us. Rabbi Karo teaches that Passover is the key to all the holidays on the Jewish calendar. And so the Aleph, or the first day of Pesach, will always fall on the same day of the week as the holiday of Taf, or Tisha B'Av. Let me illustrate this with a little chart that I put together. The Aleph, the first letter of the alphabet, corresponds to the first day of Passover, and then to the Taf, which is the last letter of the alphabet, the Taf holiday, which will be Tisha B'Av. Now, the first day of Passover this year was on a Thursday, so Tisha B'Av this year will be on a Thursday. This is not just a game. Let me finish it and I'll show you. The Bet, or the second day of Passover, corresponds to the second from the end letter, the Shin. So the second day of Passover, which this year was on a Friday, tells us that the holiday, the Shin holiday, or Shavuot, will be on a Friday. The Gimel, the third letter of the alphabet, or the third day of Passover, which this year was on Shabbat, corresponds to the third from the end letter of the alphabet, which is a Resh, which corresponds to Rosh Hashanah. So as the third day of Passover was on Shabbat, Rosh Hashanah will be on Shabbat. The Daled, the fourth letter of the alphabet. The fourth day of Passover this year was on a Sunday. It corresponds to the fourth from the end letter of the alphabet, which is a Kuf, which refers to Kriyat HaTorah, or the reading, the beginning and ending of the reading of the Torah, which is Simchat Torah, which will also be on a Sunday. Hey, the fifth letter of the alphabet corresponding to the fifth day of Passover, which was Monday this year, corresponds to the fifth letter from the end of the alphabet, or a tzaddik, which stands for tzom, which means fast. Tzom, what holiday is a fast? A tzom? Yom Kippur. The fifth day of Passover was on a Monday, so Yom Kippur this year will be on a Monday. One more. The Vav, the sixth letter of the alphabet, or the sixth day of Passover, which was on a Tuesday, corresponds to the sixth letter from the end, or the Pei. Purim, which begins with a Pei, this year was on a Tuesday. Now, the Shulchan Aruch, written in the 16th century, indicates that there was no holiday yet for the Zion, the seventh letter of Passover, which corresponds to the Ayin, the seventh letter from the end of the alphabet. There was no Ayin holiday at his time, but he assures us that someday Passover, just as it celebrates a holiday of redemption for the Jewish people, the ultimate redemption will come with an Ayin holiday. What Ayin holiday is there in our world today? It's Haatzmaut, or Yom Haatzmaut, Israel Independence Day, which falls out today. Just like the seventh day of Passover was a Wednesday, it falls out today on Wednesday. This is truly, truly remarkable. Yes, Yom Ha'atzmaut, Israel Independence Day, is in the Torah. As Passover is the holiday that most expresses God's love for the Jewish people, Yom Ha'atzmaut is a testimony of God's enduring love for the Jewish people. And so even in our isolation of the coronavirus, let's do all we can to feel the joy of God's love today and celebrate it. Happy birthday, Israel, and have a good Shabbos.